You're about to see all my whips. That sounds really dirty. Check out my whips. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Stash. My name is Jess. I am the dyer and owner of Skein and the Stitch, and The Stash is a podcast all about all things fun, crafty, and fiber. So today we're going to be talking about my personal whip list. We're going to take a whip tour. So we are going to look into my closet of unfinished FOs. Well, actually, that's not an FO. We're going to look into my closet of unfinished projects, some of them quite recent, some of them very old, and we're going to take a look. And these are the projects I really want to work on this year. I would like to knock some of them out. A few of them I think I might frog. We're going to talk about that on this episode. So stay tuned. I'm going to take you through from oldest to the most recent whips. The most recent whips are actually the ones I'm currently working on, and I think, well, we'll figure out what I'm going to do with them. So yeah, let's get started. So the oldest whip in my collection is actually a pre-pandemic whip. It's around 5 years old. So this is actually, this is me attempting to design. I started this ages ago. I've been writing the pattern, kind of lost puff because I found out I was pregnant, and then the pandemic happened and everything just kind of fell apart. And then I stopped working on this. I don't even remember what yarn this is. That's how old this whip is. But this is a fingering weight. I think it might end up being a T. So you can see I have like the up into the middle. I think it's like either middle or under bust. I don't know. It's the where the color work starts is kind of awkward. I think I didn't realize this until I started making it. That it would kind of come potentially at an unflattering place in the bust, kind of cut your boobs in half. But yeah, so the sleeves, obviously I need to either make them short or finish them. And then you can kind of see this design that I don't know if the camera's gonna focus on it, but you can see there's like this motif. This motif is actually inspired by a Welsh blanket. So I might come back to this at some point and revisit it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like the design. I like the motif. I am just not sure how I want to play this whip. So it's been parked for a while. So this year, I think I would like to take this and either frog it, or I think I just want to knit the rest of it. I think I'm going to turn it into a T. So I'm going to make the sleeves into little short sleeves. I'm going to keep, I think I have like another inch or two in the body, and then I'm going to go back to blue, and then I'm going to do ribbing. And so I think I just need to finish it, see if I like it, and then decide if I'm going to frog it or what I want to do. I like the idea of designing. I've done actually I have a lot of designs that I've like worked on in my head, but I haven't translated into yarn yet. So this is like the first avenue of design I ever did, and I think, yeah, I want to revisit that. Not necessarily a design, but just to finish the project and get it out of the project bag. We'll see. The second oldest project in my whip catalog is actually something that I have dyed. So I don't know if many of you know that I have one of my best selling products in my shop is something called the Suffragette Fade, and it is either a mini skein fade or a 5 skein fade of full size skeins. So I have dyed up for myself a set, and this is a classic DK, which I no longer stock. So that's why I've been really kind of slow to finish this whip, is because the base classic DK is not the one that I currently carry. I've changed supplier for that. So I kind of ran out of puff with this as well. But yeah, this is classic DK. It's just a DK top down jumper. Pretty simple. Just going through, as you can see, the body's finished, but the sleeves are not. So this sleeve I'm starting to work on, and this sleeve is just on hold. So yeah, it just needs sleeves. I think I might make them like bracelet length just to kind of not use all of the yarn, or make sure I have enough for both sleeves. Yeah, I like this one. I feel like my style, my personal knitting, like what I would wear style has changed. So I think I might just have this as a sample for shows, not something I would wear all the time. Maybe I would, I don't know. I think I just have to finish it and wear it and see how much I like it. I think the Suffragette Fade would have been better if I had done a shawl instead of a top-down jumper, but I've committed at this point and I will finish it this year. So this is like 3-ish years old. This is pretty old. Yeah, this is a long time coming. So yeah, that's another one, a project that should be finished relatively quickly. So the next oldest project is from 2021, I believe. This is a Fibre Fox Advent that I've started, and I got to like the 3rd or 4th color. I think this is a solstice end grain wrap. I'll double check, and if it's I'll put the text on the screen. But yeah, this is a solstice end grain wrap, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I think I like the fade. It's really pretty. I'm just not sure this is the right pattern I want to make with it. So I started it and I was like, I think I want to try something else with this yarn. So I might frog this and like either weave it. I think I might weave it or make like a find your fade shawl with it. I think I like that shape a little bit better. I like the pattern and I like the yarn. I just don't think it's the right match together, if that makes sense. Sometimes you start something and you're like, this is not the right thing I want to do, so you have to change it up. I think this is the right yarn for a different pattern and the right pattern for different yarn. I think, yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So this one I think is a frog and reallocate the yarn somewhere else. This whip is embarrassingly close to being finished, and I cast it on like 2-3 years ago. This is I was gonna just do like a simple, this is my boucle DK base. I don't currently offer this one because if I'm honest, boucle is a pain in the butt to dye and it's really heavy. And it's just, my customers don't seem to love boucle and I don't enjoy dyeing it, so I just took it off my roster. But I have a skein of this, and this is one of my Buffy colorways called Vengeance Demon. And I had never worked with boucle before, so I decided to like do a little cowl thing. So the idea is you just kind of knitting a little column for the neck and it will go and be cozy, and I just have to knit until I get to like my desired height and then bind off. So there's no pattern, it's just knit in a circle until you think it's high enough. So yeah, I just need to knit until it's high enough, and I think I'm about 1/3 of the way where I want to be, and it's like a skein of boucle, so it's very simple, very mindless, very TV knitting that I just need to do and finish it off. So yeah, there's no reason I haven't finished it other than just couldn't be bothered and something more exciting came along and took my attention. This whip is from 2023, I believe. This is a Birds of a Feather shawl, about 1/3 of the way through. This is in my colorway Joe from my Little Women collection. This is plush sock and cerise, so you kind of alternate sections if you can kind of see a really pretty texture. I really like it. I think it's a really nice project. It's once you kind of get going, it's really easy to memorize the pattern. So I cast this on and was knitting when I was in the States with my family, and then I came back from this is all stuff I did during like the week and a half we were there. So and then we came back and real life started up again, and then I promptly forgot about this whip. So I would like to finish this whip this year. It's really easy memorable pattern, the Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I think it's really pretty color. I could see that colorway going with a lot of like the clothes I wear. It's just one of those colors and patterns that it's just easy and simple. And I love an easy, simple knit. I'm not a complicated knit girl. I don't have the brain space for like really complicated technical patterns or committing to a really big fingering weight overall colorwork sweater. I just don't have the brain power. I pick projects based on like what I what I think I can actually achieve. So we shall see. This whip is actually from my Hobbit Advent collection. So when I was dyeing up the Hobbit in, was it 2023? When this colorway is actually from one of the sock sets. This is a Gandalf's Light. This is a Doppio that has one, almost an entire sleeve and then a sleeve to go. I finished the body. So this is one that would be like, I could knock this out in a week if I really focused. Less than that, actually. This is called Gandalf's Light. This colorway is on DK and Surrey held double. I developed this colorway for my weekly sock set. So this Gandalf's Light was a sock set color, the main color of one of the sock sets. And I liked it so much, I dyed myself up a sweater quantity for a Doppio, and then I cast on, and then I just took ages and ages and ages to do it. So this sleeve, I could probably finish this in like a night because it's 6mm needles. Like it's very chunky, very satisfyingly quick to knit. I just need to do it. You can see the collar. I don't like the double brim, the fold over collars. I just don't like them around my neck. So I've just done a single, I think it's 1x1 ribbing. It's chopped down. I'm not the kind to like start a project and then come back and do the neckline. I just like doing it all at once. So I just did it myself. I kind of cowboyed it a little bit. So yes, this is something I really want to finish quite quickly and soon because the weather is still cold. I'd like to finish it before the spring comes, which I think I could definitely achieve if I just sit down and knit on it. This is a WIP I'm probably going to frog because I have barely started it and I don't think I will end up finishing it. So this is a self-drafted, like chunky blanket. Oh, the stitches come off. Hold on. Let me rescue it. Rescued. Stitch secured. So it's a skein of DK and 2 skeins of sock yarn held triple actually. And the idea is you just garter stitch the whole thing. It's really crumpled up because it's very long and it's very tangled. So the idea is that I will just knit this blanket and do garter stitch, and as I come to an end I just magic knot onto another single skein and just kind of randomly continue and just let the colors marl through without any sort of pattern or idea or rhyme or reason. So it's really a chaos blanket, and my idea was to use up a lot of scraps. I still might actually just keep doing this because I have a decent amount of cake scraps or skeins of cake that I don't have a plan for, that I think I should just, I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So I think they might just go into the Franken blanket. I'm going to call it a Franken blanket. That's such a good name. Franken blanket. A Franken blanket. Anyway, yes, the Franken blanket. I think I'm going to continue with that now that it's got a name. Now that I've named it, I have to do something with it. So yes, the Franken blanket will continue. It will take me a while to finish that, so I don't expect anything this year with it. I say that, you know what, you should expect things. You should expect, but I don't know. Yeah, the Franken blanket, I think that's going to be a really long-term WIP situation because it's really, really wide. It's like the width of a single bed size, and then if it's long enough to fit on a single bed, it will take me a while. So we're just going to put that one on ice. My next WIP is it's actually a sock. I'm not a big sock knitter. I don't enjoy knitting socks that much because okay, sock knitters, please don't hate me for this. I kind of think knitted socks, you just stick them in a shoe and you don't get to show them off to people. And my brain goes, well, if you're knitting a sock, you want people to see it, like your beautiful yarn and your hard work. Like I want to be complimented on my knitwear. Selfishly. So, but I love self-striping yarn and I thought I should give socks a try. I really should just, everyone loves them. They're popular for a reason. You sell a lot of sock sets, you should knit some socks. So this is a sock set, self-striping sock set from Giddy Yarns. This is a vanilla sock. I'm just knitting cuff down. This is the heel flap I haven't turned the heel, but I've done the heel flap. This heel flap was knit 6 months ago. This is the world's slowest sock ever, so it might get a mate in the next 5 years. But I'm hoping this year is the year that I complete an actual pair of socks. And I have more to say about socks in just a second. But yes, I really like this yarn. I think it's really pretty. I love pink and green. And I just think it's just nice. It's just really pretty. And Helen of Giddy Yarns, I don't know if she currently still does self-striping yarn, but I have a couple of self-striping skeins of hers in my stash and I really love them. So yes, I'm all about this. Okay, this WIP was started, I want to say in the spring, so this is less than a year old. This is a Shifty Sweater by Andrew Mowry. This is in Spin Cycle Yarns. Really loving this texture. It's so beautiful. I decided to make it a tee, although I need to rip out these armholes and make them a little bit smaller because they're just a little bit big, and because the fabric is a bit thicker because it's mosaic knitting, the sleeves kind of like stand out from my arms a little bit. The fabric is a little bit more dense, so I want to make the sleeves a little bit narrower so that it kind of like sits flush, more flush with my arm, but that's pretty easy fix. I just have to pull back the ribbing and then add like a couple, like maybe one pattern repeat where I narrow it down and then the cuffs again. But yeah, this is just going to be going down and down and down until it's finished. So I think this will probably end up like a little cropped situation because I don't have a load of yarn left. I have this much, so I think I've got enough to finish the body and then come back and do the sleeves. So yeah, I really like this sweater. I like working with spin cycle yarn. This is actually the whip that's inspired me to really start spinning because I like spin cycle yarn. I can't always afford spin cycle yarn, but I just love how the colorway or the colors like slowly fade through the skein. So I think that'd be kind of fun to learn how to do myself. So I've already started learning how to spin. So yes, this is the Shifty, soon to be Shifty Tee. And it's so pretty and I love it. And yeah, I need to finish this. It needs to be finished for the spring. Definitely for the spring. And now we are coming to my most active, current VIP whips, right? So these are the whips that I have cast on recently, or I'm working on, or I'm like really motivated to keep working on. So there's a couple. And the first one is this blanket. This is a crochet blanket, granny square blanket. It's just a big, massive granny square. I just keep going around and around and around the edges. And this is going to be a baby blanket for my sister. She knows about this. It's not a surprise. I've showed her. She knows the color. She knows what's going on. The baby has been born, so I really need to get a wiggle on it for him, for my new little nephew. But I think it's cute. This will also block out bigger. So I've got about 60 grams of yarn left to work on it, and then I want to do a little border. So it should actually go relatively quickly. I'm using, this one takes a 4.5 millimeter hook. And it's just DK yarn from Along Avec Anna in a emerald, I think, emerald shade that I am just going around and around and around. And it is a great, beautiful yarn. And I love it. It works up really nicely in crochet. All right, my next active VIP knit or whip is actually another crochet piece. This is the Juniper Cowl. And this is using minis from my Diner collection that came out in November. So I swatched a bunch of minis. I did like knit and crochet swatches, and I had the minis left over, and I was like, what do I want to do with these? I don't want to waste them. And I thought I would practice my crochet. So this is all puff stitch, and puff stitch is actually kind of my nemesis. I don't like it, but I thought I'm going to really challenge myself and like lean into the puff. I'm going to do the hard thing. So yeah, this is just, it kind of like a cone shape. It goes down. I did check. It does fit around my noggin. It's a bit tight because this is the beginning for me. I won't show you the wonky part because I accidentally twisted my cast on, but I thought I just would continue. So I continued on with a twisted foundation chain, and then I untwisted it, and it's a little wonky at the top, but the chaos dies away as I become more proficient. So you can actually, if you look really closely at this, which I don't think I'm going to show on camera, you can see the chaos at the beginning, and then as you move through, the stitches get more and more even, and like my tension is better. So I feel like this is an active project of me learning how to be a better crocheter. So by the time I finish, I will have like sussed out my tension issues, and I will be a lot better. So not bad for my first like real crochet project, I think. Not just a baby blanket, like in the round, you know, doing increases, doing color changes. So I'm, in terms of color changing, I'm just using magic knot. I'm not doing anything with weaving ends. I am cowboying this. So yeah, it's actually really enjoyable. I've been crocheting this while I've been listening to audiobooks in the evening, and it's been really nice to kind of mindlessly go round and round and round and round while my brain is listening to an audiobook. So this is a great pattern. I've had a lot of crochet friends recommend it as very easy, beginner friendly, and I can confirm it is indeed easy and beginner friendly and a pleasurable knit to do. So I'm actually very close to finishing. I have one more mini left to add on, and then that will be done. So I will probably finish this quite quickly. All right, and then this is actually the whip that I'm most excited that I'm working on right now. This is kind of my pièce de résistance whip at the moment, and this is the one that I'm kind of like really fixating on, and this is a sheep camp sweater, and I have used Garthenor this is all non-superwash yarn. I've used Garthenor Beacons DK for the contrast. The main color is Newburgh Yarn Company. I think it's Lake Life in her authentic DK, which is non-superwash DK. She very kindly gifted me 3 skeins and a yarn swap for this. And I loved it so much. I was like, I really want to make a sheep camp with this. It looks so pretty. So I purchased 2 additional skeins from her. So the 2 additional skeins I purchased from her at my parents' house in Pennsylvania. So when they come visit me, they're going to bring me the rest of it so I can finish this. So I'm trying to finish the body so that when they arrive, I can do the sleeves and then I will be finished. So my parents are planning a trip in the spring. So I'm trying to finish the body before they get here, which is at this point, it's just plain stockinette. So I'm just going to zoom in around and around, which makes her excellent TV or audiobook work. It's just a bit tedious at times, but it's really also good for car journeys. So when we go out on the weekends with the kids, I will sit passenger princess and pick a destination that's like an hour away so I can have an hour there and an hour back of craft time, which is really goes nicely with DK because it works up rather quickly. So I'm hoping to have this finished the body finished the next couple weeks, and then hopefully after my parents drop off the rest of the yarn, the sleeves should go relatively quickly. Sleeve Island is where WIPs come to die for me. So I am really hoping I can get off of Sleeve Island. I think I'm going to finish this one and then go back to the Doppio, finish those sleeves, and then carry on with these sleeves. I'm just going to sleeve it out. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get rid of the sleeves. So that's my plan. And the last WIP, I don't know if I want to call this a WIP. I really want to make another video about this project I'm starting for the year. This is something I've kind of wanted to do for a while, but I got a lot of self-striping skeins of yarn in my stash, as well as all 4 sock sets from my Alice in Wonderland weekly sock advent cranked into tubes. So this is the first one. I think it's I'm late. This is the one. It's inspired by the White Rabbit. So this was 100 gram skeins, 100 grams of this, my plush sock base. I had it all cranked into 1 tube, and then I cut it, and then I have 2 pairs of socks. So I have done the cuffs for those 2 pairs. I did one 1x1 rib, and then the other 2x2 rib, so I had to know which pair went with what. I have to add the toes, so that they are all on cables to add the toes, and then I will do an afterthought heel. I will be learning how to cut and add an afterthought heel. So this is really my sacrificial lamb pair of learning how to cut into a tube of yarn, learning how to pick up all these stitches, to do all the toes, to do the afterthought heels. So this is really like where I'm learning how to do that. And I have this nice box full of tubes that I've cranked. Let me get these out. So these are all my rainbow self-striping yarns. Like, look at these. So these I'm going to add, again, cuffs, toes, and heels to this. And I also have the other 3 skeins from my Alice in Wonderland weekly sock sets that I have had cranked. So I'm going to do the same to them as well. And then I have all the minis that coordinate in the box as well. So that is like my big project. I'm going to make another video about the sock cranked tube project for this year, because I get a lot of questions about it whenever I post it on Instagram, and I would like to talk more about it. And maybe we can do a tutorial together. I'm not good. You shouldn't learn from me, but I can show you how I do it. And if I make a mistake, you can see it. And I don't think you have to be an amazing expert to do a tutorial. I mean, I wouldn't classify it as a tutorial. I think it's more of a come along with me as I cut into my yarn, and we will see how it goes. It could be good, it could be not good. So I think I might make a few videos like that of my sock cranking journey. I do get asked a fair amount of times, do I crank my own socks and where do I have them cranked? And the answer is I do not crank my own socks. And I don't feel comfortable talking about where I get them cranked, not because I'm gatekeeping, but because I don't know if that's a service they offer to the public as like a standalone service. So I don't want to send people their way if that's not something that they are prepared to take on. That's like the only place I could find in the UK that would do it. If you're in the US, you can go on Etsy and look up loads of stuff. We'll talk about that later, another episode. But anyway, that is my WIP tour. I do have like a couple little things that I frogged that I haven't showed you, but for the most part, I think that's quite respectable. I think that what my plans for this year to finish a lot of them, the majority, if not all of them, I say with the exception of the Franken blanket, that is the one thing that I don't think I'll be finishing anytime soon. But the doppio, the socks, the birds of a feather shawl, I feel like working on that throughout the year should be really fairly doable. I haven't cast on anything else new. I don't really have a ton of desire to cast on at the minute. I am doing a lot of spinning, so I just want to work on something that I've already started. I don't really want the mental gymnastics right now of trying to work on something new. I just want to have something new, or have something that feels new, I guess. So in my mind, going back to stuff I've already done, and then it feels new. I don't know if I'm articulating that very well, but yeah, that is my whip tour. So that was a list of all of the whips I am currently working on. I hope you enjoyed seeing how much work I have to do this year. To be honest, I think in terms of whips, that's a pretty relatively small number of whips. I have a couple friends who are in more double digits than I am in terms of whips. And I'm quite conservative when it comes to casting on and knitting because I don't have a lot of time. I have 2 kids. I run my own business, which takes up a lot of time. I call it my 3rd child. So I don't really have a ton of crafting time. And so I tend to not start projects a lot. Yeah, I do have a fair amount of yarn caked that I would like to start knitting of something, but I think I need to clear the backlog a little bit, free some needles, free some project bags before I dive into more. But thank you so much for tuning in. My next episode, I think we're going to do a little stash tour. I want to show you the stuff I'm buying. I also want to show you, as a dyer, the types of things I'm buying and why, because I purchase yarn kind of differently from someone who's just a typical hobbyist. Because I am in the industry, I have a different, I guess, a little bit of a different eye. I look at different things. I also don't purchase a lot of yarn. I'm very selective when it comes to the types of yarn I put in my stash. Yeah, so I think the next episode we're going to do a little stash tour. We're going to do a deep dive into the stash at the Stash podcast. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. This is Jess from the Stash podcast. Please don't judge me. I'm just a girl who likes to knit and crochet and weave and spin. I have a lot of hobbies. I also like to embroider, and so